Today, we're going to cover how to calculate Cosmos DB request unit or RUs for CRUD inquiries. My name is Maxime Rouillet, and I'm a cloud developer advocate for Microsoft. What is Cosmos DB? Azure Cosmos DB is a globally distributed, multi-model database service. First, it's globally distributed. That means having your data replicated worldwide in multiple data centers without the fear of losing anything. Second, it's multi-model, so Cosmos DB adapts to your needs. If you need a document database, there's a SQL API. Already using MongoDB? No need to change your code. Your data model is more of a graph? We support it through the Gremlin API. Or maybe you are using Azure Table Storage and need to globally distribute it. Finally, if your application uses Cassandra, Cosmos DB is there for you. What are Cosmos DB request units, or RUs? First, it's important to know that it's a normalized number. It is not strictly related to a single operation. Rather, it represents the CPU, memory, as well as the I/O operations required to execute an operation. Consider it as reserved compute for processing operations. How much RUs is used for operations? Based on a single JSON document that I've created, I've been able to extract those numbers from the Cosmos DB Capacity Planner. The link will be provided in the description as well as in the last slides. These numbers will change based on the size of your documents, but it gives us a good relative difference in terms of how expensive an operation is. We can see that a single record read is relatively cheap. Create and delete are expensive, but not as much as updating a record, which is still less expensive than deleting and recreating that record. I have left the queries empty for now, because that number may vary a lot. So this begs the question, how much RUs do I have? Request units are per seconds, so you don't really need to monitor them that much. They are automatically refreshed every seconds. What is important is to know how much RUs your application is using so that you can better provision your Cosmos DB account. The bare minimum of RUs per second is 400 for a fixed 10 GB database, 1000 for database of unlimited size. You can reserve more RUs instead of 100. I will not go into pricing since this changes more often than not. What is more important is figuring how many RUs a request is using so that you can plan around it. So let's do a basic demo and see how we can manually retrieve those RUs. So for this demo, we're going to walk through a simple test to see how much RUs some basic requests are going to consume. You can already see in my code how I'm initializing my client, creating my database, and collection if they do not already exist. That database is already pre-populated with data, so those operations will not do anything for now, but it's good practice to ensure the storage exists before doing operation against it. I've set some random employee ID over there. So the first thing we'll do is create an employee called John, then change his name to Paul, then we'll retrieve it from Cosmos DB directly, and finally, we're going to delete that employee. As you can see over there, we can retrieve the RUs from each of those individual operations by accessing the property called request charge. We can retrieve exactly the same value if we read from the response headers from the HTTP request directly, like so. However, that query here will not be able to retrieve the RU because the way we use it, by just doing toList, will hide the request charge from us. So the best way to retrieve the request charge from this specific query is to rewrite it like so. So as we can see here, we added a few elements here and we changed the base interface, which allows us to retrieve as more results and execute next async. This will allow us to do something like an IEnumerable, where we can enumerate over the different pages and retrieve the results from each pages. Also, at the same time, retrieving the request charge for that specific page. And all of this allows us to better evaluate how much our queries actually impact our performance. So I hope this demo has been useful to you. As promised, you can read more about how to estimate your necessary throughput by going to cda.ms/kq. If you really want to try the capacity planner, you go to cda.ms/kr. And finally, to get your hands on a quick start, you can go to cda.ms/ks. If you have any questions about this video, don't hesitate to reach me on Twitter or my other profiles online at aka.ms/maxcda. To see a list of all our advocates, go to aka.ms/advocates. If you want to give feedback to the product team, please use the following hashtag and Twitter account.